Max Verstappen has more wins than Sebastian Vettel. All of Verstappen's wins are with Red Bull, and he's currently third on the all-time list of most wins in Formula One. And here's a stat of all active drivers: Lewis Hamilton's ahead of Max Verstappen with 103 wins, and then Alonso's third with 32 wins. The next active driver behind Hamilton and Verstappen, Valtteri Bottas with 10 wins. Ricardo has 8, and 6 for Sergio Perez. Joey, if Mercedes brings a car that can contend with Red Bull, McLaren continues to improve pace, and Ferrari gets better as well, does 2024 look more promising than this year? And do you anticipate another repeat of Red Bull's dominance?
Well, so here's the problem with this, and it's one of the reasons that Verstappen is so dominant with a teammate like Perez, whereas, when Hamilton and Rosberg were together, the two of them were fighting each other. They were taking points off of each other. What I think is going to happen next year is Red Bull is going to be that little bit ahead, and everyone else is going to improve to a almost equal level. So what we're going to have is we're going to have Ferrari, Mercedes, McLaren, Aston Martin taking points off of each other, and also probably Perez down in that mix as well. So we are still probably going to have a decent amount of Max Verstappen dominance. Probably not as much as this year, but the racing is going to be closer. But because all of those guys are going to have to be sniping at each other to get their points, Max is going to actually start to creep away partially because of that. That's my theory anyway.
Should I mention the one thing that we've all forgotten? Red Bull still haven't paid the price for breaching the cost cap in 2021. We always knew it would affect 2024 most of all. And the reason for that is because they break it in 21, it's found out in 22, it's hampered in 23, applied, so they can't do aero regulation testing, and it's affecting 24. So that's what I've always been saying. So it's next year's Red Bull that is going to have the least to be developed upon because they would have lost aero time because of the cost cap breach. So it's next year that you've got to look for Red Bull struggling. With that, I think McLaren will come up as the second fastest team. Mercedes v Ferrari is going to be an interesting battle for third. And then fourth and fifth, I think, will be where Aston Martin will about line up. So pretty much what we're seeing in the Constructors' Championship now, but add McLaren up a couple of places. So definitely Red Bull next year are going to have that cost cap looming over them for the first half of the season as not having any era development time. By the time we get to the middle half of the season, they can upgrade their car again moving forward. By then, we just got to hope that they haven't had enough time this year and such a strong car now to keep that going into 24, because now McLaren can have extra win time compared to them. It's 70% reduction. So Red Bull get 30%. McLaren, with a brand new wind tunnel that works better, have got 100%. This is why I'm already saying we've been over 3 hours. McLaren could be very strong next year in the championship.
But Josh, I'm going to throw this at you really quick before we go to Esha. If AlphaTauri or Baby Bull or whatever they're going to be called next year has the same car and has an allocation of wind tunnel time, are they going to be able to share information with Red Bull? Because if they do have the same car, they now have the data points that match, and Red Bull might not need that much development time. They've also started the development earlier than everybody else because they've had the ability to do so. So they might be in a position to use, like, already this idea of handing over the same car. They've straight up been told they can't do this before. Back in the Toro Rosso days, the Toro Rosso was just last year's Red Bull, and they were told they couldn't do that. Now they're going to say, oh, we can develop the same car for both teams. Personally, I don't think that that's actually going to happen. I don't think Red Bull would allow that to happen unless it was all because of knowing about 2024, knowing they were going to get the hit from the 2021 cost cap this year, and knowing that this was going to be a possibility and they needed that wind tunnel time testing. So that is 4D chess levels of strategy, but Red Bull's the team to do it, right? Esha, what do you think?
Yeah, great points from both of you guys. Going back to the question, Kobe, as you said, if all of that happens, Mercedes brings a car that can contend with the Red Bull. McLaren continues its pace and brings some more upgrades to their new car. And Ferrari improves not just the car, but also their strategies. Ferrari has a lot that they need to improve before next season if they want to keep up with the McLaren and Mercedes and Red Bulls. But I think that overall 2024 could look more promising. There always is a chance that it could be another recap of this season with Red Bull dominance, Max Verstappen dominance specifically, but I would like to go into 2024 with more positivity. And I'm going to say that, if all these teams can bring more improvements to their cars, I think that's going to be closer racing, an actual competition for the championship, hopefully. And I think that 2024 is going to be more promising.
Yeah, Ferrari does have two great strategists, by the way. They're just both in the car. That's the only problem.
That's very true. And we've seen lots of evidence for it throughout this season as well.
Yeah.
Well, I'd hate to point out, don't put too much on AlphaTauri then, because considering that Ferrari's strategy chief is now their team principal, and I slated that man very, very hard in the commentary box over the last couple of years. Yeah, bye-bye Racing Bulls. Nice to never have met you, and all that data we just said about, never mind, because coincidentally, he forgot his reading glasses, so he can't read the data.